Club by Pro Manchester, very proudly sponsored by us at Virgin Money. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name's Ruby and I'm usually running these events in our Market Street store in Manchester. But as we continue to work from home, it's still great to connect with you all through these events virtually. Now, through the COVID crisis, Virgin Money's main priority has been making sure that the support there is there for our customers, and all the support that we offer, it can be found on our website, and we'll make sure that that's circulated to you following today's event. And we also want to know what you think about today's event, so do tag us in any of your social posts. We are at Virgin Money on all social media platforms. And today's topic is turning customers into fans. And without further ado, I'll hand over to Jovita to get things started.
Thank you very much, Ruby. So let me just share my screen with you, my presentation.
May I just ask Max to, to switch off the camera. Thank you.
Just a second, please. Okay, we are ready. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We hope you will find this session thought-provoking and inspiring you to take action today, not tomorrow, to secure your business growth. So let's get started. Traditional ways of doing business are dying. Despite the majority of employees being totally disengaged and a large proportion of clients wanting to live for a competitor, the relentless race for profit, which makes organizations to act ruthlessly and with no empathy towards the employees and clients, continues. It's absolutely clear that change is inevitable in order to survive, and even more so, to accelerate and secure your business growth. Change in organizational culture, change in leading people, and change in engagement with clients.
The change is not easy, though, as we all have natural tendency to resist the change. We've learned during the process of evolution that it's safe for us to choose what's known, familiar, and certain. New fruit could be potentially poisoned, a new animal could be a potential dangerous, and a new person could be a potential enemy. So change from our brain's perspective always meant risk. And although we do not live on ancient savannah any longer, our brain operates by the exact same rules as thousands of years ago. And that is safety first and no room for mistakes. And because our fundamental brain's role is to make us survive, not thrive, it will sabotage anything that is uncertain, unknown, or untested. And in today's reality, especially due to COVID, we hear everybody talks about the change and new reality, new normal, and it sounds like change is an easy thing to do, but the truth is the majority of businesses will fail, and they will fail for the exact same reason why majority of us fail to stick with New Year's resolution. We do fail because real change requires much more than just a good strategy, planning, self-motivation, or willpower. And this missing element for those who try, let's say, quit smoking or lose weight is the same as when it comes to changing a corporate culture or business approach. Change needs to happen in the brain in order for to change the way we think, we feel, or act. Also in the workplace, we need to physically create new connection. We need to build new neurological paths in our brain. And whether it's about the new working habits, new corporate culture, or a new way of approaching the clients, our brain, according to the basic rules it's operate, our brain will sabotage our efforts every time we try to act in a different way than so far. So your employees will sabotage your efforts and ideas if you do not go deeper into the place where the change happens. So understanding this neurological nature of change is in fact the only way to make the change real and to win competitive advantage.
And that brings us to the topic of today's session, which is turning clients into fans. My name is Jovica Penkala, and I am the founder of Unica Brand. Together with my colleague Anna Kamińska, a neuroscience practitioner and an executive business coach, we've been working with many clients, small and large, in the UK, Canada, and the United States, helping them accelerate their business growth. Using unique and proven formulas that we've developed together, we ultimately help our clients to turn their clients and their employees into fans, which consequently results in more engagement, more clients, and of course, more profit.
So Jovita and I, we join hands to show you what to do in order to make your clients choose your company, your products, and your services over the competition. We based on knowledge regarding social media marketing on the one hand and neuroscience on the other hand, and we've selected 3 elements that are fundamental for your company to grow and beat competition. And these elements are connection, communication, and commitment. During this webinar, we are going to demonstrate how these 3 elements work on 2 fronts. Inside your company, so you could have the best staff possible, and outside your company to have the most customers possible. Jovita, if you could move to the next slide, thank you. So as strange as that may sound, it's all about the drugs. And this is the sentence I'm going to repeat many times today. If you stimulate the release of some powerful drugs in people's brain, your employees will work for you harder than ever before. Your clients will love your brand more than ever before. And as a result, you'll get more profit. Because whether we like it or not, we are emotional creatures, and I mean all men too, not only women. Emotions are a fundamental part of our human conditioning. Neuroscience allows us today to literally get into people's brain and to see, to observe what directs our decisions, our behaviors, including our purchasing decisions. So we know that it all comes down to meeting people's emotional needs. Why emotions? Because in fact, we do have 3 brains, not 1 brain. We have primal brain, we have emotional brain, and we have logical brain. We won't go deep here into the structure of the human brain, but let me just say that emotional brain is 20 times as powerful as logical brain. It's the emotion that is our motivational pool. The emotional brain is like a huge pharmacy producing serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine. And we, as people, we love the powerful feeling that these drugs create. We literally spend our lives chasing the emotional high provided by these drugs. So whether that's through watching film, checking Facebook, going on roller coaster, or doing anything else. And great business leaders and top sellers, salespeople, they know how to get these drugs flowing. And they understand that the power behind the emotions. And if you understand this huge power behind the power of emotion, this is what will give you an enormous advantage in business. Because in business, same as in politics, like the party that makes the strongest emotional connections wins, and in business the same. The companies that makes the strongest emotional connection with employees and outside the company with the clients, these are the companies that win. So let's start with the first of these 3 C's I just mentioned, and that is a connection.
Seeking profit as a primary business purpose is like building a house of cards. It leads to lack of strategic direction, reduced staff motivation, and eventually it leads to collapse. Profit is simply too temporary to guide a business by. So the message from around the world, from the top business leaders, is absolutely clear and very simple. If you want your business to exist in the future, you need to go beyond profit. You need to have a purpose. So why do we need to have a purpose in our businesses? It's because people are the most important asset in our organizations. Employee talent, productivity, and motivation determines the pace and rate of growth of our businesses. But also because human beings need a purpose, an aspirational reason that gives us a sense of belonging and inspires us to take action in order to deliver great services and great products to our clients, our colleagues, and further to local or perhaps even global society. So, what does it mean in practice? That means that you, as a business leader, need to focus and put a lot of emphasis on truly connecting your employees and your clients with your brand. In order to deliver great services to your clients and actually connect with them on an emotional level so that you can turn them into loyal clients for years to come. So what is it about the branding that actually makes it so powerful in order for you to actually build the connection between employees and clients with your brand? Those are the three big questions that we always talk about, but we don't actually pay much attention. It's the what, it's the how, and it's the why. What is about what is the ultimate business objective that your organization is committed to achieve. How, it's about how your organization and your employees need to act in order to achieve it. And why, it's the reason behind it. It's the purpose for why your organization is doing what you are doing. Who benefits? So, what is it about the purpose that makes it such a big difference? It's because it has the power to unite us and motivates us to work as a part of the team, collaborate more, and go the extra mile. Think about what your organization could achieve with everyone in the boat rowing towards the same direction. Those valued and motivated employees will gladly compete in the race, overtake your competitors, and cross the finishing line first.
So the connection is important because the need to connect with others is one of the most motivating forces in the human spirit. Our survival instincts naturally draw us towards people whom we perceive to be on our side. This protects us from danger and this guides us to safety. So if you as a boss, as a leader, can create a deep connection between your people and the company, you'll get your employees working much harder than without this sense of connection. How harder? Even 65% more. One study showed that students who were asked to do the research about a historical figure, half of the students were told that this person shared their date of birth, and then the other half did not get this message. So it turns out that the differences in effort and performance between the two groups were staggering. Those who believed that the person they were doing research about shared their date of birth, they spent 65% longer on the research than those without this information. So don't underestimate the power of connection, because when people feel a personal connection, they really work harder. And we all, like all people, your employees, but also your clients, we are all craving for connections. We are all craving for purpose and for the leaders with vision. And again, studies confirm that businesses that are built on a higher purpose and values outperform the market by 10 to 1. And this is according to Harvard Business Review. So what's the secret behind this enormous power of connection? Jovita, can we move to the next slide, please? So the secret is the oxytocin. Oxytocin is a neurotransmitter that creates a unique sense of connection and attachment. It makes us feel warm and it makes us feel safe. It's the exact same chemical reaction that happens when a mother breastfeeding a baby or when a couple is making love. Oxytocin is released naturally when we feel a closeness with others, when we hold hands, when we cuddle. And when oxytocin is flowing, the relationship is blooming. This is the oxytocin that will bond people with you, with your company, and with your brand. Yet without this drug, even the most glowing affection will fade away over time. So the key question here is, can we make clients feel that way about the brand, about your brand? Or more importantly, can we create these feelings online without the need to physically hug every single client? And the answer is absolutely yes. Yes, we can, like Barack Obama would say, right? And the great example here is Apple. Apple is a brand that was able to form deep bonds with their customers that go far beyond just practical or functional elements of phones, computers, or other devices. Apple is about social status and belonging. It's about lifestyle and imagination. It's about being innovative entrepreneur and creative visionary. It's about being almost like Steve Jobs. And again, from the brand perspective, it's all about the drugs. Companies like Apple know how to trigger oxytocin release, and as a result, client connects with their history, with their purpose, with their mission, and with their vision. And when you do the same, your clients will bond with your brand, your products, and your services exactly the same way as they bond with their loved ones. Because still, it's the oxytocin behind this. And as long as the oxytocin flowing, your relationship will last. And I will repeat once again, it works for both your personal life and business and brand as well. So this is actually what great leaders and all big brands are doing to create a loyal band of supporters. They create the connection by deep connection by feeding people with the oxytocin. So that's the power of connection. Now let's move on to the second C, that is communication.
This is not just about any type of communication. This is about open and honest communication. And why is it important? Because it's directly linked to trust. And a lack of trust is at the heart of employee disengagement. And it's caused by the fact that we actually consistently and persistently lie to each other at work with the little things. We've been doing this for so long that we actually barely notice that we are doing it. We start the practice of telling lies at schools and universities when we teach young people at interview skills, an educational code for lying by presenting a version of ourselves that is not true at all. Companies also lie at interviews, from job adverts to a promise of the perfect job that we know that doesn't exist. So with both sides working so hard to cover up the truth, there is no surprise here that actually many people leave their jobs after a short period of time. We continue lying under the excuse of professionalism, a code of how we should behave at certain situations at work that is completely not aligned with who we really are. If open and honest communication is the foundation on which you can build a true connection and true engagement between your employees and your brand, then the brand mission, purpose, and values, about which we talked about earlier in this presentation, gives your engaged workforce both a direction and a way of working together. There was once a time when companies didn't need to talk to anyone except their customers. And actually, it wasn't really very much of a conversation. It was actually talking at people with the thing called advertising. There was very little market competition, and there wasn't such a thing as a mobile device. So actually, multitasking wasn't a thing. Consumers rarely questioned the claims made in advertising and never followed up by writing a review on Amazon. No one had more influence than actually the businesses and people behind it. Today, due to birth of social media of social media and other technology, customers' behavior and as well as demands and expectations have been dramatically changing and are continuing to do so. The brand message doesn't have the same level of influence as it used to. What is said about your brand by pretty much anyone on the internet is what tends to hold the most weight. And this is why figuring out how to get more and more people to talk about your brand in a positive way is the absolute necessity for success. And that is why social media under exclusive marketing department control is dead. You, as a business leader, you should now realize, this is the time for you to realize that you need to work and focus on actually enabling every single employee within your business, from the CEO right down to the receptionist and even your cleaners, to actually talk and use social media in a structured and strategic way, so that you can build an army of employees that will talk about your brand and tell its story in a way that cannot help but be contagious for everyone within their web of social relationships. So just to show you how powerful it is for all your employees within your business to use social media to advocate for your brand, let's have a look at this table on the next slide. And this is based on a real case scenario. A firm that does exist out there, and this was their situation a few months ago. Look at the brand social reach versus the employee social reach. So as you can see, 612 followers versus 19,000. It's a big, big difference, staggering difference. So my question to you is, are you committed to actually enable and encourage your employees to use social media in a structured and strategic way to advocate for your brand so that you can actually accelerate your business growth? Think about it.
Yes, communication, effective communication is a real challenge, and neuroscience gives us hard evidence that we are not as rational as we think. Even when people declare they are being rational, MRI shows something totally different. For example, when people are surfing on the internet, believing that they are really analyzing and are conscious of what they are doing and what they are reading, in fact, the brains are on autopilot, and the conscious part of the brain is not activated. Neuroscientists leave no doubt. We are conscious, we act on conscious level only for about 3 to 5% of the time. That means in practice that if you are, let's say, active during the day for 16 hours, only 30 minutes, more or less, you are in charge. And the rest of the time, it's your subconscious mind that is on the driver's seat. I know that it sounds a bit scary, but it's a fact. At least 95% of our thinking processes happens below the level of our consciousness. What does it mean for communication with people, with your employees, and with your clients? It means that you have to know how to go deeper, how to communicate with their subconscious mind, not with their conscious mind, because the vast majority of business decisions, such as whether clients will choose you as a business partner, whether they will trust you or not, and whether they will choose your product or service, these decisions are made deep in the subconscious brain, far beyond our awareness. And this is the mistake that many business people and many companies make. They are trying to communicate with people on a conscious level, which is in use, as I just said, for only like 5% of the time. And the skill of subconscious communication is especially important today in today's reality, because we are bombarded with thousands selling messages every day. Plus, people today don't have time and they do not have attention span to listen to and to analyze long presentations. We used to joke about a goldfish and its 9-second ability to focus. So guess what? according to a Microsoft study, today a human attention span is 8 seconds on average. Yeah. So despite all these obstacles, we all know political or business leaders who can speak in a way that makes us shiver. They know how to make us cry, how to make us laugh, and they know how to put us into a certain emotional state, so we are willing to give them the support for their vision or their ideas. And they are so effective in that we oftentimes are even ready to fight with those who think in a different way. What all these business leaders, political leaders are doing, they are using secret language, language rules that are known since the times of Aristotle, and that are taught only in the most elite schools like Eton College. Today, this language of rhetoric and persuasion is proven and backed by neuroscience and behavioral economic. In 2002, by the way, Nobel Prize was awarded to Daniel Kahneman for his work in applying the psychological insights into economy, especially to decision-making process, buying decision. So it's most solid science what we are talking here. We can say with much greater certainty what works and why. So when it comes to communication, there is a whole set of physical, verbal, and vocal cues and signals that determines who makes it to the top of business and politics today. Our time today is limited, so I'm going to focus on one communication tool that is extremely powerful in business and in online communication, and that is metaphor. So we use metaphors once every 16 words on average, and usually without even being aware that we're talking with metaphors. Metaphors not only make a message more poetic, they make it extremely persuasive. Metaphors go deep into our subconsciousness and have a great power to change people's attitudes, values, and behaviors. Studies show that changing nothing more than just metaphor can lead people to fundamentally different reactions and decisions. For example, it was proven that change in metaphor, nothing else than just different metaphor, change people's expectation about whether a share price is going to go up or down, and thereby affecting whether people are likely to invest in company share or not. Metaphors, when used systematically and strategically, can bring great results to your company, to your business, because they are not only create an image in people's mind, and our brain operates mostly on pictures, but they also trigger specific drugs in the brain. And again, remember, it's all about the drugs. So studies shows, for example, that people's level of generosity, meaning how much money they are ready to give to support charity, this level of generosity is directly proportionate to the amount of cortisol, that is stress hormone, and oxytocin in people's brain. When there is no cortisol and no oxytocin, or when there is a little amount of oxytocin and cortisol released, people are willing to give like no money with no drugs or little money. But when for those who had a high cortisol level and high oxytocin level, they gave significantly more. Simply speaking, they felt bad. Cortisol, they felt bad because of what they see here about somebody's situation, and they connect with them through the oxytocin. So that was when they gave more money. Without this hormones being released, no chance to get their financial support. So if you want to influence your client's purchasing decision, your goal should be to release specific drugs in the brains. And metaphors are a great tool for that. But you need to use metaphors smart because, and you need to use the one that will resonate with your customers. And the fact is that many of the metaphors that are used in business communication have no persuasive effect at all. Worse yet, sometimes some metaphors that are commonly used can act against you and against company. And a car metaphor is a good example here. The car metaphor works well for leaders, for CEOs, when they are thinking about their organizations. But from the employee's perspective, this metaphor is not only disempowering, but it's even scary, because if a company is a car and the leader is the driver, then employees are nothing more than just parts and components. If they do not fulfill specific function, they will be easily removed and replaced with no regret. So in business, this power of metaphor is enormous, as long as you will find the right ones and avoid those that will hinder. Now it's time for the third C, that is commitment. Oh, yes, not a positive picture. And it's confirmed with Gallup research that only 15%, not 50, 15% of employees are engaged at work. And this is a global trend. These employees are willing to go the extra mile. They work with passion and feel a profound connection with the company. They drive innovation, they move the business forward. Disengaged employees, on the other hand, and this is this 85% of the workforce globally, they are literally checked out. They feel unhappy at work, they monopolize managers' time, and they drive away customers. They sleepwalk through the day, lacking motivation and having little or no concern about customers, productivity, quality, or profit. All they think of is lunch break or when 5 p.m. gonna strike, right? So lack of engagement is a serious danger, especially today in the COVID era, because disengagement, from brain perspective, disengagement is a typical reaction to stress. In order for the brain to engage in work and be productive and effective and creative, we need to be in this creative state of mind, not in a fight or flight mode. And that's why it's so crucial. It's so important for companies to teach people how not to step into the survival mode, into this fight or flight mode. And it's absolutely doable and it's learnable. Lack of commitment, lack of engagement itself is still not the worst thing from the company's perspective. What's even worst from a business point of view is that when we are in the survival mode, in this fight or flight mode, we become stupid. Blood goes, what happens is now in our brain is blood goes from the thinking part of the brain, which is our prefrontal cortex, into peripheries, into our limbs for fight or flight response. Obviously, we need to either fight with our hands or run away fast on our legs. So what happens when blood goes away from prefrontal cortex, our IQ drops down. We are not able to think. We obviously that's temporary, but with long-term stress, it's not a good situation. We are not able to think. We can't use the knowledge we already have, not to mention creating some innovative solutions, some new ideas, and this is what all we need right now. So we're simply speaking like a student who studied hard for months and had a lot of knowledge, yet because of stress, he forgot everything during the exam. Everybody probably had this experience, like with exam or interview, when the stress literally paralyzes us and we are not able to give the answer for the simplest questions. Nobody needs this kind of employees, right?
So let's have a look at what is actually the monetary cost of disengaged employees. And this is an example based on a real company that exists out there that had 50 employees. So the company was spending on 50 employees £2 million on salaries every year. So the total cost of disengaged employees to this particular company was over £500,000, which equates to over 27%. So my question to you, what are you going to do in order to actually improve your situation within your businesses? Are you interested to change the situation? Or perhaps you are committed to do whatever it takes to change it, to improve it, and embark on the journey of actually turning your clients into fans?
So I will add one more honest question. Why so many people are disengaged? And why so many people don't care about their companies? And the answer is that they don't care because companies and bosses don't really care about them. They don't offer them a sense of being needed, a sense of purpose. They don't offer them security and safety, which are the fundamental emotional needs rooted deep in our brain. They also don't stimulate what needs to be stimulated in order for people to feel that it's really worth trying. If people surf in the internet during working hours, that means nothing else than they feel bad at work. They feel unappreciated at work. These powerful drugs are not released in the brain, so they are looking for, and they're chasing for some substitutions, so for substitute stimulation online. Remember, it's all about the drugs, and in this case, it's about serotonin, which is a very powerful drug. It makes us feel proud. It makes us feel confident. It makes us feel amazing. Serotonin is released when we get a Facebook like or a Twitter follow. Prozac and other antidepressants, they mimic its effect. But serotonin, it's also released when we are complimented, when we receive praise. Praise, flattery, and compliments, it all improves performance, involvement, and commitment because it makes people feel great. It's the law of reciprocity, the most basic human rule in human interaction. If you make people feel great, they will feel bound to give you something back. Studies show that paying people compliments can increase the number of people prepared to help by 30%. So that means the people who work for you will work harder than ever before. So remember, high serotonin levels make people feel confident, strong, and capable. Low serotonin levels make people aggressive, angry, and impulsive. What kind of workforce would you prefer? That's another question. And as I said earlier, there are two ways to lift the serotonin level. One is through praise, the other is through Prozac. So the choice is yours.
On the other side, to get to the commitment from your clients, you need to know your clients on the personal level first, then emotional level, before you actually get to know them on the business level. Why? Because today's customer, it's a very sophisticated customer that has a voice, that is looking for a value in everything they do, read, or write. So they want to be treated as a person first before they are treated as a prospect customer. And the new 4 E's are actually starting to replace, slowly but surely, the commonly known 4 P's of marketing, which is product, price, placement, and promotion, that have been with us for over 50 years. And what they stand for experience, engagement, emotions, and exclusivity. They are all interlinked with each other. And in order for you to embark on the journey of turning clients into fans, you need to use all of them at the same time in a very smart way.
Okay, so how get clients loyalty? How to have committed clients? Let me start with saying that lack of employees' engagement, what we've just discussed, is one of the primary causes why clients decide to leave for competitors. Because lack of engagement naturally leads to poor performance, and this inevitably leads to poor customer service. So if you know how to deal with the lack of disengagement, what we just discussed, then you are already halfway in keeping your clients. What else you can do to keep them? From a neuroscience perspective, you need to stimulate dopamine release. Dopamine is the reward drug. It's another drug that makes us feel great. Dopamine is released when our expectations are met. So how to stimulate it? We're getting back to the purpose. People are drawn towards leaders, towards brand with purpose and with vision. This also has been rooted deep into our subconscious mind in the course of evolution. People need to know what they are doing, right? Leaders need to know where they're leading us, and we need to understand this path, this vision and mission. So by explaining the company's vision and purpose clearly, you will activate the reward system in your client's brain. The clearer the vision, the greater the flow of dopamine. If the vision and purpose of your company are blurry or unclear, then sorry, but you can forget about turning your clients into fans, no matter how huge money you spend on advertising, on marketing. We are heading to the end of our presentation, so before the final word, let me sum up this all about the drag rant with a quote from Maya Angelou, who said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel."
And just to actually give you a little bit in terms of the statistic, how powerful it is to turn your clients into fans, let's have a look at some numbers. How you can benefit from actually turning clients into fans. Your company can actually experience much lower absenteeism by more than 41%. The turnover may be much lower by more than 24%, turnover of staff. Productivity of your employees can actually increase by more than 17%. Employee engagement can be higher than more than 25%. And actually, ultimately, what that means to your organization, to your businesses, is that you can get and gain 6 times more profit. So my question to you, are you interested only, or perhaps you are committed to start actually changing situation and improving your the whole company situation and actually secure your future?
Our final slide, neuromarketing, combination of marketing and neuroscience. And huge promise, but the title of this slide, it's not just an empty promise or another marketing trend that may not stand the test of time. Everything we've discussed today have been used actually for great performance since ancient times, and yet it's only now when neuroscience gives us the evidence and explanation on why these tools in fact work. Neuroscience, when implemented to marketing, leadership, and business, will give you lasting business solution for your company. Your employees will be better and more engaged performers due to positive chemical changes in their brain without forcing them to act like someone they are not. They will work with passion. They will feel a profound connection to your company. They will drive innovation, and they will move your organization forward. Yet that's not the end. Imagine your employees being able to tap on demand into a creative state of consciousness commonly known as flow. Imagine they would think out of the box anytime the situation requires unconventional ideas. The greatest inventors and performers in our history oftentimes credited their amazing masterpieces to the fact that they were able to enter this states of consciousness. And today, reaching this state of mind is not a mystery anymore. It's a science, and we have tools, we have technology how to tap into this state. So please don't believe any longer, that's my request for you, please don't believe any longer in the myth that your potential is limited to 10% of your brain and that you won't be able to use more in your lifetime. Today, there is no confirmation whatsoever that it's no longer true, simply speaking. There is really much more to achieve for you, for your people, for your company. And with neuroscientific tools, your employees will be able to, you will be able, and your employees will be able to tap into the optimum state of mind on demand and to achieve maximum creativity, productivity, and innovation. Your team will become your most loyal team of supporters. And when it comes to your clients, you will literally able to read their minds and communicate directly with the decision making center in their brain. You will never your clients will demand for you to buy from you. Not only products, but they will also be your loyal devotees for years and true passionate advocates of your brand. If only you give people what they emotionally need, they will give you the support you need. And with that support, who knows what you will go on to achieve in the world. So thank you guys for being with us today and for staying till the end. If you have any questions and any thoughts or observations you would like to share, now it's time for that.
Let me see if there are any.
There's something on the chat, I believe, but I can't.
Yeah, I can see. Are there any questions?
Here on my side.
Start asking any questions if you want.
Okay. Oh, Meg is asking about recommending further reading about the engagement. It's I would say that from my perspective, from neuroscience perspective, it's there is so many different aspects we've discussed here, and honestly, it's not that everything is already described in one position. I wouldn't say that there is one book I would recommend to read. There is a lot of there are some positions on neuromarketing. You can simply Google neuromarketing, and you would find some new released books. But what we did here is we combine different elements. It's like our own, we created this in our mutual cooperation. It's not that we took it from like one model, one book, and we introduce it to you here. It's more like basing on tools we have, knowledge we have, and we thought, okay, so how about we combine this, we implement this here or here. And I can tell you from my perspective, I implement neuroscience to business, and right now what I'm doing right now due to COVID, it's like more and more field I can apply neuroscience to that I would never consider as a potential field for me to work on before the COVID. So it's like we have some knowledge, tools, skills, and we think on how we can apply this. It's not that it's already described somewhere. So I would not recommend any like one book, because there is no such book. There is a lot of books, as I said, with neuromarketing in the title. From my perspective, I read many of them. None of them describe what we described here.
Yeah.
They give some pieces. It's like a puzzles, right? So it's really hard, but you can Google by the keyword neuromarketing.
And this is years of obviously testing and making sure that it does work for businesses. So of course there is plenty of read out there, just like Anna said with neuromarketing, but it's not as simple to apply.
Thank you, Max. I'm really happy that you found this this topic fascinating. It's also fascinating for me.
Are there any more questions? I don't think they are. So, Catherine,
if you have any questions after, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn.
absolutely.
Right, you can easily find us on LinkedIn. So go ahead. You're welcome to reach out if you have any questions, observations, concerns, thoughts, or any ideas you would like to share.
I think, Catherine, we are ready to close the webinar.